Okay, welcome everyone. Here I am once again.
Farah.
And we're ready to go. We have two sections to the
Let my people go.
What's that?
Let my people go, Moses said to Pharaoh.
Yeah, well, no one cares what Moses said. Be quiet over there. Okay, here we go. Just 1 second. I got to go shared. I have two presentations. First one is from the NJSIAA. And this is what you would be seeing if you were, everybody see that on the screen, NJSIAA?
Yeah.
As long as one person sees it, everybody sees it. Had we been meeting in Williamstown, like apparently the football people are doing today, we would be seeing this, but we've been told to do it ourselves. So here we go. COVID information. They do not anticipate any COVID modifications this year. Please make sure that if there's any possible changes from the chapter, we will get it out to you as soon as possible. Officials may continue to wear masks and use electronic whistles. Teams should be ready and carrying them in case they're asked to wear it indoors, depending upon the district or school decision. That will not be our decision. So you should be ready. I myself, when I'm on the R2 position, will be wearing a mask. I might lift it up a little bit when I'm on the R1 on the ladder, but anytime I'm talking to anybody close up, I'm going to keep it on because they're still young people and young people do stupid things. Registering all officials. You know by now you must register with officials. They must complete a background check, which is part of it. You must complete the concussion course in the sport course. It's on NFHS Learn. Those certificates should be forwarded to Helen. You should be able to get Helen's email address when you go into ZebraWeb and go on to reports. There's the list of all the officials in the chapter and their contact information right there, and you must pay the appropriate fee. And right now, between now and the end of this month, August 31st, 59, the NFHS volleyball test is up. There still is the issue with the spring fee. I would wait to see what's going on with that when we get to our meeting in September with to determine where we're going. If someone's not muted, please mute, okay? I hear stuff in the background. You're not muted, please mute.
Smith is.
Okay, just please mute. Okay, thank you. All right, background checks. This goes into it that they will do the disclosure that it's a comprehensive background package, that it's been approved through a company. They check your felonies, misdemeanors, and there's a 7-year scope. So if you had a pot violation when you were 18 and you're 25 or older, that doesn't get involved. So this is something you're going to absolutely love. There is a brand new sportsmanship statement. It is, I believe, slightly shorter, but it must be read at all levels. No choice. This is from the Attorney General Office mandate. Must be read in its entirety, no paraphrasing, must be professional in the delivery, and must be read to all members of the team, regardless of the size of the team. I'll go into a suggested method to do that. PA announcers don't count because they have a different version, and it must be adhered to before, during, and after the contest. So the thing of importance there is that it must be read to all levels, all players. And again, we'll go into the process later on. Here is the new statement. Make a copy of this. If I haven't done so already, send it to Ken, and Ken will be able to send you a sheet of 4 of them, and you can print them out and cut them out at your convenience. The big thing is now they changed harassing conduct into bias, which includes race, color, or religion, gender, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, ethnicity, gender identity, or your expression, and it's to de-escalate any bias. So if you hear something, do something, and again, they're saying not to issue warnings. Reminder about the DQ versus the game ejection. DQ for unsportsmanlike, flagrant, verbal, physical misconduct are out for the next 2 games. If it is a game ejection, you have 3 minor cards against a player or a coach. They are minor. They are out of the game, but that does not get reported to the NJSIAA. You should report it to the assigner, so he is aware. So 3 minor events would not require a report, even though you went from yellow to red to yellow, red combined, and the coach or the player is disqualified from that game. And again, you got to be careful of the word disqualify. If the word disqualify, that means they're out and they're out for 2 more. And if you use the word ejection, that simply means that they are out for that game, for that match only, and required to be reported. Okay? Any questions? If you have a question, either raise your hand on the app, or I can't see all of your pictures, or unmute yourself, and we go from there. All right, and those chats are just about people showing there. Okay, good. All right, the next slide is about DQ reporting. If you have disqualified, and again, that means it's flagrant and it has to be reported, must contact the athletic director by noon of the next day, must be done within 48 hours. It should actually be done online earlier, as soon as you can, to the NJSIA. If you need the form, it is on the NJSIA site. Official must notify the coach before leaving the facility who was disqualified and that it will be reported. A DQ is a DQ. Officials are not permitted to change their mind after it is called. There was a situation in North Jersey during the softball season where the umpire got rid of someone, used the term disqualification, was spoke to later by the athletic director, the fact that they have never had a disqualification. He changed it, and now it's creating a problem, a big problem for both him and the school. So once you disqualify, it's done, and they do not accept appeals on the NJSIA level. And then again, please remember to sign into the NJSIA website to report the DQ. And again, always report it to the assigner, Bill Bradley, because he's going to get a phone call and he's going to want to know about it. Handshake. We are not required to supervise the handshakes. It is the school coach's responsibility to supervise that. You should be observing it, particularly at the end of the match. If it's a heated match where there might be some issues with teams having some pent up issues. As far as what is going to be done by the players in the pre-match, I've spoken to 2 coaches groups already. None of them really know what they're going to do. I think they're going to wait till they see how close it is to the season and what their school districts are going to be requiring. If there's any modifications due to transgender, that we must accommodate them as long as they don't violate the specific uniform rules. If everybody's in green and Pete Lukács wants to be transgender and I want to come out in pink, I can't do that because the violation of the rule. Much match the existing uniform in terms of color and logo, and I can't have anything on there that creates an unsafe situation. Religious clarification. Anything that relates to religion is going to be accepted. They may modify the uniform, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the slides. Same thing, must not violate the uniform, color, logo, and be unsafe. Jewelry shall not be worn except for religious or medical medals. Religious medals must be taped and worn under the uniform. Medical alerts must be taped and may be visible. Any questions regarding those modifications, you should contact me and I'll contact Sharon Hughes, or you contact Sharon directly if you so choose. Uniform modifications, again, transgender. We are not going to stop any play except if it is unsafe. If you don't like the color, if you don't like the design, if you don't like what they stand for, you continue with the contest. You do not play a contest because of a uniform. The only thing you not play a contest for is if it is unsafe. Standards, not padded. Official stand, not padded. There's a drip on the middle of the floor from the ceiling and they can't stop it. That you would not play for. But anything else, a uniform, incorrect ball, things that are not a safety issue would be, you would play and then report it to me or Sharon Hughes directly, or I would contact Sharon myself. Officials apparel, another thing you're going to be love hearing. The current officials apparel supplied by Cliff Clean will continue to be sold until December 31st. Starting January 1st, only Smitty apparel will be sold. You are not required to wear Smitty until July 1, 2023. So if you have relatively new Cliff Clean stuff, you could wear that until July 1, 2023, which means actually the fall season. If you are in need of, and I sent this out to the cadets, that if they are need uniforms, I would wait until January 1st and just buy it from Smitty. There's no reason for them to buy it from Cliff Clean. They can continue to wear their plain white polos because they'll only be there as cadets for this season. And then for the spring season, they could have their regular uniform. All you need to do is go to smittyapparel.com to find out a local provider, and then that's where they will tell you where to get it from. There's some in North Jersey, some in Pennsylvania, some in Philadelphia. I don't know them all, but that's the new situation. This is another example of the NJSAA just allowing you to have multiple uniforms that you can't wear. So if you bought a whole bunch of Smitty older ones from, Cliff Clean ones, starting in July 1, 2023, you'll not be able to wear those. Officials logo, we know this, we don't wear jackets on the mat, we don't wear hats. So if we were doing football, you can't have a local association sticker on it. We're only gonna wear the jerseys. If we do have some people who wear jackets in and out of the contest, that's fine as long as you don't wear it during the contest. Registration for 2021-22, we already talked about this. There is no level of cadet. You either have to be an active member or an inactive member, and you pay full board. And the second registration for a sport or a multiple sport is reduced from 65 to 35. Here are the fees. First sport, 55, 35, and look how nice they are. They're not raising them for 3 years. They're such great people over there. The NFHS test, you must pass with an 80. You are not allowed to officiate any contest without passing the test. We've already completed our cadet program as far as the test goes. We had 8 people take it, all 8 passed with flying colors. And so we are now shadowing them. They're gonna have mentors. The mentors have been notified, and they'll be hooking up with them as in the very near future. All right, that's it on the NJSAA. I'm asking if anybody has any questions on that. And I'll assume not, which is probably the best news I heard all day. Okay, this is the regular PowerPoint, and I will expedite this as efficiently as we can. I'm not going to rush. And again, if you have a question on a slide, please ask. And where are you, Zoom? Hold on. Screen share. And here we go. Thank you. Okay, everybody see the 2021? All right, let's start. One person has to nod. And does any one person see that? Yes? Paul, you see that?
Yes.
All right, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Marty. All right, these are from last year. And again, many of you were not here, so I wanted to reiterate this stuff so you can see what we've either done or we're going through. We have here the protective face mask. Now, they may wear these to protect facial injuries by wearing a protective mask. They may also have this as a preventative. They don't necessarily have to have an injury to do it, but they should have the ability to wear it with or without an injury. It must be made of hard material, no protrusions, molded to the face, and it should be professionally made. And that's new rule as of last year. And again, if you weren't here, you wouldn't know that. Roster submission. In the past, there was a team was not ready for the roster. There was a loss of rally or a point. That has been now changed, that if it is not there within the 10 minutes, if they don't hand it to you when they're supposed to, and they say, well, I'll give it to you when I'm ready, then that's an unnecessary delay, administrative yellow card, and you assess that at the start of the set, not then at the 10 o'clock point, but at the point where you are starting the set. So they're supposed to do it when it's ready at the pre-match conference.
Question,
Yes.
are they giving it to us or to?
I'll come back. Hold that
table?
question, Helen, okay?
Okay,
I'm going to go into the whole thing about what's back in place. By correcting a submitted lineup, in this case, if it's a clerical error, particularly like on a submitted lineup, we have number 11 is there in black. She is clearly the libero. And on her lineup card, the coach or he on the coach submitted a number 1. Well, that's clearly an error. There is no other number 1 anywhere, especially in the libero uniform. So that may be corrected without penalty. So no point, no side out, no unnecessary delay, strictly corrected. Unsporting yellow card last year, it has been changed where the coach does not have to sit with the yellow card. It is only with a red card or higher. When a yellow card is issued, either the head coach, assistant, or someone on the bench, the head coach is no longer required to sit. The idea is the yellow card is a warning, and as a warning, it should be just that so he can continue. Just a reminder, if a player on the court receives a yellow card, red card, that does not impact the coach. The coach does not have to sit if it's a player on the court during the course of the match. If something happens in between sets and a kid yells at you for a call they did or did not like, then that's on the coach because it's not during the set. If a red card is issued to the head coach or an assistant or a team bench, then the coach has to sit down. So he gets the yellow card as a warning. New substitution for signal for the referee is number 15. 2 short whistles, either official, rotate his all forearms around each with closed hand. Used to be open hand, and 2 times to signal the substitute. So it's double whistle, 2 shorts. We want to do that so the server doesn't get confused.
I should just skip them like that.
Somebody got a question or you're not unmuted?
You're really good at that. I'm like,
If you're not muted, please mute. Okay, so raise your forearms, and that's the signal. Okay, that's
Keith-
last year.
Keith,
This
mute-
year.
Keith, mute yourself.
What?
Work back.
It's Keith.
Keith Strickland, mute yourself, please. Okay, this is,
Repeaters, I don't care how you hold those flags.
Oh, you're on mute.
Keith,
Yes.
Keith, please mute. Hair devices, this came in midway through the year last year. There were some issues with schools and teams. Players may wear head coverings for religious reasons. We have the yarmulke, and we have the headwear for Muslim Islamic, and we have a turban. All three are legal and are for religious reasons. Also note that bobby pins used in the hair or flat clips could hold the yarmulke, could also hold parts of the other hair, are all also legal. They must be secure. They must be of non-abrasive soft materials, but head coverings that are not worn for medical reasons must still receive state association approval. So if someone has a hard cap that they need because they have a soft palate or some other issue for concussion recovery, whatever the case may be, that would need a state association approval. But anything dealing with religion, there is no issue. We're going to talk more about this, but this is a state association adoption. When we have the meeting at Berlin, the association will take an informal poll which ones you would like to keep. The white, would you like to keep the white and the gray, the white and the blue, the white, the gray, the blue, whichever combination. The problem is whatever we wear must be all the same color. And I would imagine that when it comes to state tournament time, the white one is going to be worn because that's going to be the one that is the most common. But we as an association could choose, say, the blue, and we only wear them for association matches. That will be discussed at the meeting. So think about that. Think about what you prefer to wear.
Oh,
Got a question? All right, state association, black shorts, not approved. The
yes.
long pullover is not approved. You may wear shorts only during scrimmages while the heat is up. If it is a cold in the gym, you may wear a long sleeve turtleneck or long sleeve tee underneath your shirt. No pullovers over it and no shorts. Any questions? You may also not wear, you do not have to wear your logo jersey, a logo uniform top during scrimmages. If you have old ones, plain ones that you want to wear, not waste your good ones for the scrimmages, you may do that as well. Penalties. All right, this is a new one. Lineups are due to the referee no later than 2 minutes. If they fail to submit it to you within the 2 minutes, it is an unnecessary delay, administrative yellow card assessed at the start of set one. So this follows and is in coordination with the change they made last year on roster. So if you don't have it in, or the head coach doesn't have it in at 2 minutes, they have it at 1:59 and you start pulling the card out, you're just looking for trouble. We're going to try to encourage the coaches, but what you try to do, if it's 30 seconds late or a minute late, that's something else. But we're going to encourage them and remind them that we need their lineup. But if they give you a hard time, then by all means, penalize them. Then if they don't have it in by the time the match is ready to go with no time left on the clock before the start of the match, then you go to a unnecessary delay red card. That would be a loss of rally, point awarded to the opponent. So both things would occur. Again, we're going to try to encourage the coaches to get their lineups in. If they are problematic towards you, then by all means, utilize what you have at your command. Between sets, lineups are due no later than 1 minute prior. Well, this is a little more difficult for them because they're talking to their kids and they're trying to get their lineups. Again, you may want to bring them their old lineup card and give it to them. Say, I need this right away. Let them work on that. But if it's after a minute, then again, it's an unnecessary delay, administrative yellow. And again, it would be the start of a new set. So it would not carry over. And again, if they're giving you a hard time, I'm coming, get off my back, then by all means, do what you got to do. And then if they still don't have it and it's 0 again, then you would be a red card rather, for the subsequent one. And that's assessed at the start of the next set, loss of rally or point. Apparently this is a national issue because this is a national rule. That's it on the rules. These are editorial changes. Okay, this is in the rule book. If you go to page 69, how to use signals, it says open hands. It should say closed hands. So cross off open hands. In the back of your rule book on page 72, there's a list of all the state association adoptions that are available. And all of those are there for your view. Ken Reynolds sent out a document which has the ones that New Jersey has accepted and apply. So this is a good reference point, and you combine this with the modification form that was sent out and you should be fine. Editorial changes, we can go over that. Points of emphasis. Line judge. Now, I reiterate, and I showed the coaches these slides as well about line judges. And I remind them to please train line judges to the best of their ability. I remind them about we don't want a freshman or sophomore handling lines during a varsity match. We don't want a kid to be there because it's a penalty because they missed practice. We want people there who know what they're doing. So when that happens, and we do instruct them, the one thing I will take issue with, if there's warm-ups going on in this slide, we do not bring them onto the court. We are setting ourselves up for negligence. The balls are being hit. If one of those kids get hit in the head because you brought them out on the court to tell them where to stand, then you're going to have a major negligence issue and a lawsuit coming your way. So instruct them in a safe area. And then when the warm-ups have completed, just before you go up on the ladder, make sure they know where to stand, and you could reiterate to them real quick what you want to do. But you should be assessing their knowledge, seeing how much they can help you, make sure they know the correct calls. And if you really have a problem with them, by all means, you can change that. Ask the coach for a better one. During the serve, if someone is serving near that side line, the left sideline, near that hash mark, saying that the line judge must take step backwards so they are still in view of the end line. So at the moment of serve, they could see if there's a violation there. But once that's complete, they come back immediately so they can get in position to observe the sideline. We're trying to get everyone who's learning about line judges to understand that it is not a position that you stand in concrete. They should be able to move around, bend, refocus. Marty Einhorn made a great point to the cadets last night. When a ball's coming over and you're line judging, stop the flight of the ball, anticipate where you think it was land, or refocus on the line so you can see whether it hits it. Following the ball the entire way, as you know, as an R1, is problematic. You want to kind of jump ahead to where you think it's going to go so you get focused in on the hit. Well, same thing here as the line judge. You want them to focus in on the line. Remind them of their signals, how to obtain the R1 attention, inbounds, out of bounds, wave and a point, either the antenna violation or the service line, what a touch is, a touch with hand, and a view of play is blocked, and then you should have them over by the 10-foot lines during timeouts unless you want to communicate with them. And again, if they're kids, you want to encourage them, you want to remind them, you want to tell them did a good job when they did, tell them what to improve upon or how to look for things differently. And again, they're there to help in that way. Again, remind them during timeouts, they're by the 10-foot line, and between sets, I would usually let them sit on the stands behind me if they want to, and remind them, please, that they are not ball retrievers. Tell them not to get involved with arguing with fans, even if it's their parents, and try to protect them as much as you can. No coach should be yelling at a line judge, even if it's their own player. When they're out there, they're part of our team, not the teams that are playing. Pre-match communication. Difficult to have officials meet prior and come in together because we do arrive at each other. But I will say this, if I arrive early, I generally sit well back behind the bench or away from things until my partner gets there, because I'm not there and my jurisdiction has not begun. So I'm not worrying if the teams are wearing jewelry while they warm up until I come up with my partner and I'm ready in my uniform with my equipment to get the thing started. But if I'm there early with a jacket and I'm drinking my glass of water, I do it in the back away from everything, so I'm not in jurisdiction. When you communicate with the home management, introduce the to each coach, go say hello to each coach when you first walk in. Dialogue between any official and coach should prove that officials can be cordial without crossing the line. Don't spend too much time with one coach over another, because that will be noticed. Be a facilitator, and again, remain separate, even the game begins and even when it ends. I had a comment from a coach last year who complained about, he thought the familiarity between the two officials and a coach, and when he finished the match, it was his home match, and cleaned up everything and put the balls away, he went out to his car. The two officials were still talking to the coach in the parking lot. You can imagine it gave him some doubts about the bias or unbiased nature of the officials. Coach and official during the match, communication. Now you've established a good rapport with the coach, so now you want to continue. You're not going to carry on because 3 games ago he yelled at you and you can't wait to get a piece of him today, because if he does it again, you're going to get him. Every day is a new day for you and for them. You don't want them coming up to you and say, you know what, you're a good official, but last time you were here, that call was terrible. You don't want them starting that way. So don't start with them. Coach, behave yourself today, not like you did the other day where you yelled the whole time. Good referee listens rather than reacts. R2, provide a quick response, then give the game back. Most situations, the second referee is going to hear a complaint about a call that the R1 made. In that case, serve and protect. Tell the coach, Coach, I hear you. We'll talk about it. I'll talk to him about a timeout during timeouts. If the coach doesn't want to stop, do not allow for extended discussions. Ask the coach, do you want to have a timeout to discuss it further? They can't discuss judgment, but I would remind them that. And if the discussion is about a call made by the R1, remind the coach that he's got a floor captain, and the floor captain can go get clarification. Then let the floor captain communicate to the coach. That usually will diffuse. After the match, this is very unlikely to happen. We don't generally go to locker rooms, but we are not going to have any discussions outside the table where other people can hear us. We're going to protect each other wherever there might be fans coming up to us about a call. Now, obviously, if it's a parent wanting to know about a call that was made because they didn't understand, we'll give that courtesy. But if it's an issue, we're going to walk away. And there should be at least some kind of discussion at your car if there was something that you want to go over. Not, why didn't you call that illegal? nothing like that. Everybody has their job. Everybody has their standards by which they make a call. But, I thought we did a good job on that. And thanks for helping me out with those informal signals. That was really great. There was that, I thought it was a pancake, but it hit the floor. You gave me the informal signal that it hit the ground. Those are good things. Those are the kind of things that we want to encourage as far as communication. As I said, these are the state adoptions. We've already adopted match format. We've 2 out of 3 instead of 3 out of 5. We don't have forfeit. What we have is termination. If the game is stopped because of not enough players, or you threw the coach out and there's nobody there to take over, we don't forfeit. Forfeit indicates that somebody wins and somebody loses. All we do is terminate the match, report it to the assigner. The leagues will figure out what to do, and if it goes to the NJSIA, but I would certainly keep notes as to what happened, what the score was.
Right.
Even if you put it into the scorebook at the end, say, I stopped the game at this score because of this reason, and I've terminated the match. And bench rotation. Bench rotation. We are not rotating benches. We are not rotating benches. I'll get to that more. Manufacturer's logo. Again, I tell the coaches, if your player has a logo like number 6 has, that's on the band of their spandex shorts. Nike does it, Adidas does it. I would assume everyone else who has a company is going to do it. That is illegal and is improper uniform. The uniform can only be 2.25 inches square. So if they had a little Nike swoosh on there, that would be fine. The NFHS does not want the players to be used as billboards, so that is not permitted. I've told the coaches, and here is your circumstance. They have a choice of 2 things. If the kid has another pair of shorts, she can go in the locker room and change them. If they don't have another pair of shorts, she can pull her jersey out so it hangs over and covers it. Anything to do with uniform is based on how they stand in a natural pose, hands at the side. So if they stand with the hands at the natural side and it is covered, then that becomes a legal uniform. If during the course of the set or the match, she jumps and spikes and she raises her one arm above another and you could see part of the logo, and then she comes down and it covers it again, that is not a violation. Just like if you happen to see she jumps up and her navel piercing is shown for a moment, you're not going to go over and say, lift your shirt up, I want to see your navel piercing. So you're not going to do that with the short. Reminder, you go to the coach during warm-ups when you see them and say, Coach, number 6 is wearing shorts. She cannot have that logo on there. She has to address it. Please have her do that. And then the coach will take care of it. If not, we will go accordingly, but she cannot play until they're made legal. Going forward, these uniforms will be, the A will be illegal if they have a number that is shadowed with the same color underneath as in the same uniform above. So you have white on white, if you have green on green, if you have blue on blue, all those would be illegal. 18 and 6 are solid, so therefore they are legal. Dressing uniform concerns. Again, you tell the coach about anything illegal. Now in the picture in the middle, we have, now this again applies only to varsity. JV, freshmen, we're more lenient. We realize they are hand-me-downs, but schools should be able to provide varsity uniforms of the same style to the ladies that they allow for basketball or football or soccer or whatever else. In this situation in the middle, we have 3 different uniform tops. Well, if they only have 6 players and that's all they can do, we're still going to play the match. And we're going to penalize 1 time with a loss of rally point awarded to the opponent at the beginning of the match. And then you're going to notify me. I will notify Sharon Hughes. and Sharon Hughes will contact the school, or Al Stump will contact the school. I don't see us having any issues with that in our area, but in case, that's the rule. Uniform concerns. I mentioned last year that there was a situation in the north where an official would not let a player like number 3 wear because she was wearing leggings. He said she had to wear shorts. All 3 of those are legal. Shorts, leggings, skirts, all legal. I've been around this game long enough to remember when parochial school girls all wore skirts when they played volleyball. They can mix them. All 3 players in that picture, in those pictures, can be on the same team at the same time, as long as the bottom have the same color. They either must be all gray, black, green, red, whatever the case may be. So the combination of bottoms, as long as they're same color, light color, are legal. If you are not seeing this live, if you are watching this late because you were not able to attend the meeting, please send this code 39-675-212 to Helen Schollenberger that you have seen this video on YouTube. If you are here, you do not need to write it down unless you're writing it for a friend, in which case make them watch it. Getting back to normal. Once again, upon arrival, we now go back to checking the height of the net, antenna placement, ball pressure. Remember, we are not to correct any of those. Nobody should be carrying pumps. Bring them to the attention of the home management to correct. Meeting with line judges for instruction is not to be done near the court if both teams are warming up. The pre-match conference is again held with the head coach and captains off the court, outside the standard, near the scorer's table. Sportsmanship statement must be read or spoken. Rosters are to be presented to the R2 at the pre-match conference. Let me go back to the sportsmanship statement. The suggestion that we have is we conduct our pre-match conference, and then normally we allow anywhere from 6, 7 to 10 minutes for the team to have common warm-up time, depending upon the league and where we are. Then one team comes off and the other team has the entire court. When that team comes off, we recommend and mention this to them in the pre-match. When your team comes off after the common warm-up time, we would like you to sit at your bench area immediately, and then one of the officials should go read the sportsmanship efficiently and quickly. Please do not give explanations about why you are doing it. The first line of the new statement says, the New Jersey Interscholastic Athletics Association requires officials to enforce all rules regarding sportsmanship conduct by players and coaches. That is your explanation. You don't have to say anything or excuse it or apologize for it. So then that team has anywhere from, let's talk varsity, another 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes for them to continue with getting their water, changing their tops, going to the bathroom, whatever they need to do. Then when the first warm-up time is done, the one team goes on to warm up and the other one comes off, then either the same official or the other official should have them report to their bench area and read or speak the sportsmanship to them again at that time. Then they have the remaining time for what they do. The quicker they go, the quicker they sit down, it could be all done in 30 seconds. If they putz around and you have to wait for them and get them there, that's their time that's being taken away. So that's the recommendation from the state interpreter as to how to address that. And I think it makes sense, and I think it's the most efficient way and least intrusive on the team. 6 starting players only are to report to the lineup end line when entering the court for set number 1. The libero is not a starter and needs to wait off the court. Remember, Sometimes that libero will come on and the starter will not be there. Remember, you need the 6 starters. When whistled to do so, the R1 team enters the court and they have to decide how they want to greet. They don't have to shake hands. Whatever they want to do, that's up to them. R2 checks each lineup, starting with the receiving team, indicates to the libero if used to enter, then does the serving team, same thing. R2 gets the game ball and rolls it to the server, not the line judge. The ball stays at the table until you're done. So the last thing you should be doing is taking that ball, rolling it to the server, nice and easy, and that gives you time to now go back to the R1 and signal you're ready. R1 should scan both benches before the late subs timeouts. R2 is required to maintain a card in their hand. R2 is watching the receiving team, not at the moment of serve, not the serving team, not the flight of the ball. Do not track servers if it takes away from your primary responsibility of checking alignments. I tell the cadets, I tell many of you, it's like having a line judge in football instead of watching the linesmen if they're off sides, looking at the backfield, defensive backfield to see what they're doing back there. Your job at the moment of serve is to check alignment. Think how many illegal alignments there could be versus how many illegal servers, and you can see which one is more important. Anytime the ball is out of bounds for an antenna fault on that side, the whistle should be blown. It is not an informal signal. When the ball either is outside the antenna or it hits the net outside the antenna or hits the antenna, that's difficult for the R1 to see. But the R2 should be whistling and making the out of bounds signal. The R2 should not be signaling the violation before the R1. That usually happens because the R2 is in a hurry to signal because he wants to start tracking the servers. So if you're not doing that, wait for the R1 and then mirror that signal. End of the set. 3 separate signals for each end of the set: point, fault, and end of set. Since both officials have signaled the 24th point, it should be clear the set is near. The signal procedure should be done slowly, particularly at the end of the set. If the set ended on a fault, that might need to be clarified. Teams will once again use the usual procedure of switching courts if the league decided. If they don't, they go directly back to their sides. And then for the R2 ensures that the timer has started the 3 minutes. Let's go back. Deciding set. When the R2 meets with the captains, there's only a choice of serve or receive. Again, choice of side is already determined. End of the match, again, 3 separate signals. We talked about then. The player should once again meet at the net, that's for them. Just maintain an awareness should an issue arise. The R2 initials the score sheet. When that is done, the match is over. No changes to the score is allowed. Officials should gather their equipment and leave the site together. One person should, I'll be right out. I got to talk to the coach for a little while. No. Leave together. Finally, friendly reminders. The yellow cards, use them when necessary. If you are verbally warning a player or a coach, there should have been a yellow card. Take it from me. I know that. I learned the hard way. I should have used it a couple of times during the boys' season. I didn't. I will in the future. Do not lag behind to talk to any team or coach unless approached by them. Do not engage in unnecessary discussion. Avoid fraternization before or after a match, even in the parking lot. They are friends of yours. You shouldn't be working their matches. Watch what you say and do. In this age of video, audio, electronics, the most innocent thing can create issues. Many matches are now being streamed live, so your performance is able to be seen and judged immediately. Use common sense. Don't look for problems. Don't draw any lines in the sand. Try to keep things on an enjoyable level and have some fun. Just a couple things. There are the still officiating volleyball alignment, officiating volleyball ball handling. They are both on NFHS Learn and are still free. We are requiring the vets to serve them and show us their certificate. Since they're free, it's not costing them anything. And I strongly suggest if you're still struggling with with alignment issues, or you're still struggling with issues on what's illegal, or I don't call that enough, or I call that too much, watch those videos. They're free and they're well done. And there's supposed to be some newer ones coming out in the near future that should be additional aids in officiating. All right, that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Unmute yourself and
I do. David,
go ahead, David.
end of set, non-deciding set. 3 separate signals, but 2 whistles only, correct? The whistle to at fault, and then the whistle to cross your hands in front of and direct them to the bench. Some referees are doing 3 whistles.
It is 2 whistles, one for the last signal, whatever the violation was, and you do those 2 things. And then when you're ready to send them back, a second whistle.
Now, we used to do it that way a long time ago. It was probably wrong then, but some people are still doing it. I just want to make that point.
Thank you, David. Anyone else? That's it? Okay, now before I go, let's, how you doing with attendance there, Helen? I want to make sure everybody gets credit for being here. Helen? Helen?
Getting there. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I was checking names.
All
Well-
right, how you doing? You want to go through who you have to make sure that they're here? If they're, listen to,
I'll go through who I don't have.
okay,
Bill
that's better.
Burba.
If you don't, if she says your name and you're here, please let her know. Go ahead.
Victoria Barber, Bill Burba,
Chris Burba.
Chris Burba.
He's not here.
He's not here. Gary Ezel, Egizi.
He's a cadet.
He's a cadet. Is he here?
No, but he's getting a tape.
Okay. Jerry Grasso.
He's
I'm
here.
here.
Okay, thank you. Tim Grimes.
Right before. I
All
said
right, Ed Marion. Yes.
Ed Marion's here.
All right, thank you. Richard McBeardy.
McBreedy's here. I saw him.
Okay, he's here. All right. Sonny. Sorry, Sonny.
Sonny Pompey?
Yeah,
I thought I
Nope.
saw.
no.
I thought I
Ron
saw
Powell, I
some.
think I saw him, right?
Ron Powell's here?
Yes. Okay, Will Rivera,
Not here?
Scott Strag.
Not here. He's gonna get a recording. He's got a
Okay, Al Turbin,
Al Trubin.
and
Nope.
Ron Weaver.
Weaver was here.
Okay,
He was here, just he doesn't like his pictures shown. Apparently something to do with the FBI.
Hey Pete, did you catch that I'm attending? This is Tim
Who are you?
Grimes.
Who?
Tim Grimes, okay.
We got you, Tim. We got
thank you,
you.
guys.
All right, before I finish, Bill, do you want to take a moment right now?
Yes, thank you, Pete.
A moment, Bill.
I'll be as quick as I can.
You're the best.
I am up to a signing to September 20th. I'm just beginning. It's a big date. I apologize to everybody if I'm slow, but I'm very thorough. I'd like to make sure, try to cut down on people going to the same places, yet keep you in the vicinity if possible. For those of you who travel, I do appreciate it. There are times I have to ask you to travel. If you turn it back, you turn it back. That's all, no hard feelings. Currently, I would like to draw to your attention that Camden High School is playing at the high school, no more creative arts. I do not know yet that they will not have a JV. It's possible they will. They won't give me an answer. I do know that Middle Township is fielding only a varsity. So that's what I do know. We welcome to our association Mastery Charter. They're coming in. I entered their schedule today. I'll put it out there, but it's loaded, 800 Erie Street, Camden, New Jersey. Camden Academy plays at 250 Federal Street. They do not play at the main site. So you have a Camden Charter, by now you should know they are playing at 250 Federal Street. Freshmen. A lot of schools, most schools are doing splits, we call it, which saves them money. And it also, they're doing the freshman and JV at the same time. And they're asking for one official for that, and then coming back with the varsity either before or after. That cuts down on the number of freshmen. We'll have to see how the new cadets, once they get oriented to doing the floor activities, and when they can possibly go and start doing freshmen by themselves. On the freshmen, most of the times I try to have a one official freshman game, which pays $78 because of the shortage of officials. And also it rewards the person a little bit who's going to do the freshman. Everybody has to get their fair share one way or the other. I'm working my way through the scrimmages. Most of them are AM scrimmages. Those of you who responded to me, whether early or late, trying to divvy them out, they are still coming in, and I anticipate more as they go along. For those of you who were not members before, just coming in, please know that I do go one day at a time and send it out. So once I get past that date, the only thing will affect it is if I get a turn back from another official, or if we get an addition that comes into the schedule. I've already had several deletions and changes, and currently right now, when I get off of here, I'll be doing more. I appreciate your patience, and more importantly, I want to say thank you again to all of you who participated in the chaos that was the former 2 seasons of girls and boys, I call it virus volleyball, and all the deletions and changes you had to face. And I do appreciate the work you did. It was outstanding. That's it, Pete. I'll let you go.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Pete. It's Michael Feely. I didn't hear Helen read my name out.
Yeah, it's because she's only calling the people who weren't here.
Ah, sorry.
Are you here, Mike?
I'm here.
All right, that's good to know.
Okay.
Just a couple of other things. Bill, this is really for you. I happen to be on with the Cal schools today, and already there's about 3 or 4 schools that are not sure if they're going to be fielding freshman teams. They're going to find out when practice opens on Monday. And the last thing I want to share with you is we had a cadet class of 10. Marty is there silent, and that's the way we like him. He did a great job of organizing. One person dropped out immediately after starting the process because of other obligations. We have Jerry Grasso, who is a transfer from Delaware, but still went through all of the classes and all the mechanics. And he was also going to have a mentor. He wants to get used to the Jersey way of doing things. The first thing he loved about it was that it was 1 out of 3, not 3 out, 2 out of 3, not 3 out of 5. So he's a plus of that. You're going to be running into some of these people as we go along the season, and they're going to be with their mentors. We want the mentors to be the ones communicating. We don't want you to going up to people and say, you know what, you're not doing that right. Do it this way. Any communication you have, please communicate through the mentor so they're only hearing one voice. And we're not trying to teach them shortcuts. Shortcuts are easy to learn. We're trying to teach them the correct way of doing things. And on their own, as time develops, they're going to develop their own shortcuts. So teach them the way they're supposed to be taught. Don't have them do things they're not supposed to do or taking away. And you know what I'm talking about? It's my primary pet peeve is tracking servers. These guys have enough issues with learning what the alignment is like without worrying about the servers. And they're only going to be working JV for now, so they're working it also. Let's support them in the best way we can. Marty, do you want to add anything on that?
I'm good, thank you.
Could have shook their head no, that would have been fine. Of
Well, I don't know if you're seeing me right.
course I see you. I see everyone.
One thing,
I'm sorry, question? Jack,
Pete, I have a question.
is it about my headwear?
No, I was going to make a comment about that, but it's about the presentations that you showed tonight. Are they on the Zebra website?
No, but I'm actually going to record. This is being recorded. I'm going to put it on YouTube. So if you want it, but if you want the particular PowerPoints, I could always send someone the PowerPoint. If you want a copy of the PowerPoint, email me. And if you want the NGSA one or the regular one, I only have 2 of them and I'll be glad to send them out to you.
So you're receptive to an email with questions and without having to cut down trees or whatever it is that you, for a copy of the presentation?
I'm absolutely receptive because
Thank you, sir.
to it's not that big of a deal. And I also want to, you kind of reminded me of one other thing, the test. The test is going on. Let me tell you, it's not hard. If you took last year's test and you still have it, I'm going to say 90% of them are the same questions in one form or another, different order. They may have changed one from a can to a cannot, those kinds of things. So you shouldn't have too much of a problem. Plus, there's very few rule changes. So that there, it's pretty simple. But there is the meeting at Berlin. If you want to be there, I will be there and I will go over any kinds of questions you may have. If you're antsy and you want to send me an email and you want clarification on a question, by all means, email me or text me and I'll be glad to do that. And then you'll have that meeting when we're at Berlin. I forgot the date. It's August, I think, 20 something. Jimmy? What, hand signal? Unmute, buddy.
no, that's going to be a Zoom meeting.
It's a Zoom meeting?
That is
Yes.
correct. The one in September will be in person.
I didn't know that was going to be a Zoom meeting. Nobody. told me.
Okay,
So I'll set that up.
25th is a Zoom meeting and the 8th is in person.
Okay, so
That
I
is
will
correct.
set up the
Washington
Zoom to the
Township.
25th. And really, the sole purpose of that is for reviewing the test and any issues that have the test. So if you're not having any problems, then by all means, you're in good shape. The test will be available and you're allowed to take it twice. If you fail it really bad this first time, don't take a shot at doing it the second time without reaching out for help. Go ahead, Jack. I see you.
So with regards to the test, I've taken it earlier tonight. And as far as the wrong answers, will they be available in September?
Yeah, at the conclusion.
And it's the same kind of ordeal with, I guess ZebraWeb has the test results from my test taking and all that. And
Yeah, that'll all show up and be part of your record on the NGSA site. And I will, right at the very end of the test, I will send out a copy of the master answer key. You can all download the master test. It's right there on the website, so you can see what the questions are.
thank you, Pete.
Okay, anybody else?
Just
Yeah.
one more thing.
can you can,
I was just saying, if anybody has not done the concussion certificate, to send it to me. Most people, if they send it to me, I responded with that with confirmation. So if I've not confirmed it, that means I have not gotten your concussion certificate yet.
Okay,
Thank you.
anybody
okay,
else? Jimmy, you want me to
Yeah.
stay? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, everybody stay. I just have a couple basic announcements to make. The August 25th meeting, even though we're planning on having Zoom, we're also going to have that meeting in Berlin with a roundtable discussion, if anyone wants to attend. It's not a mandatory meeting. You do not have to watch it on Zoom. You don't have to come to Berlin to attend. The meeting will be a roundtable discussion along with the introduction of some bylaw changes and changes in operations that has to be done. So we have to introduce them at a meeting. And the votes on a lot of the issues will be done at the mandatory meeting in September. After that meeting, everybody will receive a copy of the introductions and any changes that are being proposed. So that way, everybody will know what'll be on the agenda for the September meeting. But just remember that the September meeting is a mandatory meeting because we need a quorum to take the votes to make the changes in the bylaws. Because as it stands now, remote meetings, Zoom meetings are not acceptable as under our bylaws. Even though we've tried to move ahead as best way we can. We want to make those changes. We want to make changes that reflect voting procedures to acquire a company that will allow us to vote online and not be mandatory at that particular meeting. So we're trying to make meetings more accessible to the membership, whether it be through Zoom or in attendance, and make it an optional thing. So these are all things that will be discussed at the 25th, August 25th meeting. But they'll be all put together as a proposal for the September meeting. And hopefully everything goes quickly. Also, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure everybody knows, but I would like to welcome Kenny Reynolds as our secretary, Helen as the second recording secretary, and Skip Hoppy was moved over to treasurer. So that's your.
Guard your wallets.
Right now. What's that, Bill?
Guard your wallet.
Yeah. Okay. And even that will be discussed. We're going to discuss in reference to, I've gotten questions in reference to local dues, things like that. Up to now, the board has not made a move in reference to making any demands on membership. I think the proposal was to put off membership till the 2022 year. So that'll all be discussed. But everybody's been actively working and doing their share. We'll also give you an update with NJSIAA, how they push through the additional season on volleyball. And hasn't been an easy couple years, but anyway, all that'll be discussed at that meeting. And also to just thank you for everybody who attended this Zoom meeting. Pete, back to you.
Jim, could you give the location in Berlin for the 25th?
Tentatively, it's the community center up to now. I have not gotten complete confirmation yet, but it'll be there or someplace relatively close to that.
Jim, I have it written down as Washington Township High School, 7 o'clock.
Never in August, Dave. We never had a.
No,
meeting in
September
August.
20, September.
Yeah,
September is Washington Township.
September's Washington Township. August 25th is Berlin.
Hey, Jim,
Yes.
out of curiosity, how many official members do we have in the association? Do you have a count?
Unofficially, about 58.
Thank
About
you.
right. About right, Jimmy.
Okay,
That includes the cadets, the new cadets.
correct.
So I had about 52 operating officials listed in my Zebra Web Jack. But that was before we added the cadets. Some of those people are not taking games, though. Can I say one other thing, Peter, before we disband?
I just want you to know the Love Island's gonna be on soon, and I don't want to miss the opening.
Well, we don't want that to happen. Central has sent out invitations. All officials are independent contractors. If you are a member, dues-paying member of Central, you're certainly entitled to take as many of their games as you want in comparison to us. I am only aware of Ron Weaver, Todd Walker, Tommy Mooney, and Skip. If there's anyone else in the membership that has joined and is paying dues to Central, please let me know. They, like us, have a shortage of officials. They're trying to cover their games. I look after my clients. The clients are our schools. They're entitled to be staffed. Every official that Central takes away from our schedule, who is not a dues paying member, I look on it as an attack on our schools, not on our association as much as it is on our schools. We want to try to cover all matches with the appropriate number of officials as the state NJSIAA wants us to have. That's all.
Okay. Anything else from anyone? Last call. All right, my dog says it's time to end the meeting. Thank you very much for everyone. And if you want to see this, Kenny will be sending out a link. Every one of the